Get ready to pull back the curtain on a little secret of mine. I absolutely love creating suppressor videos. Not only do they allow me to share the incredible benefits of the best hearing protection available, but they also give me the chance to dive into my personal collection, and sometimes even my friends' personal collections, to showcase and shoot some of the coolest firearms that we've reviewed over the years. One of the realities of making YouTube videos is that once we've wrapped up a feature on a particular gun, it often ends up gathering dust. Sure, we might bring it out occasionally, but our focus quickly shifts to the next exciting video and the next innovative firearm. But here's where it gets really exciting. Today we're diving into a suppressor that lets us explore calibers we don't often get to shoot. Introducing the Dead Air Nomax, rated up to .338 Lapua Magnum, making it a full-fledged Magnum rifle silencer. As memory serves, this is only the second time we featured a suppressor for such a powerful caliber, and this one is fully hub compatible, something you don't normally see from .338 cans, meaning you can mount it on virtually any firearm. You will witness and hear this versatile suppressor in action across a range of calibers from .308 to .338 Lapua Magnum, covering all the high pressure extremes. We even pushed the boundaries with subsonic rounds like 8.6 Blackout and took it for a spin with the new .338 Arc. So we dusted off all the Magnum rifles at Alabama Arsenal, put a second mortgage on the house for ammo, and headed to the range to fully experience what the Dead Air Nomax is all about. Trust me, this is going to be a whole lot of fun. It occurred to me that in this video, more than most suppressor videos, you really need to know what we're shooting and what caliber it is. That way you can better judge, recoil reduction and how the suppressor's reacting based on whatever caliber it is. So we're going to briefly go through some of the main guns that we used in the video so you have an idea of what's being shot. So first up, this is a Ruger American that I sent off to Maztec to have it rebarreled in 8.6 Blackout. Next up, this is a Barrett MRAD that is chambered in 300 PRC. And then we have a SIG Cross Magnum chambered in 300 Win Mag. This is a CMMG Descent BR4 that is chambered in 338 Arc. And this is my buddy's Desert Tech SRS. It can be chambered in 338 Lapua Magnum or 300 Win Mag for this video. And for those who really care, the black bolt will be 338 Lapua Magnum and a nickel or silver bolt will be 300 Win Mag. This is a Bergara Premier build in 308. And lastly, this is a SIG Cross Magnum Sawtooth chambered in 7 PRC. Hopefully that'll give you a better idea of what's being fired and how the suppressor is performing with different calibers. We will have a sound test with all of these calibers in a couple minutes. One thing you should take note of is just how amazing it is that this can be attached to all those guns with all those different thread patterns, and how really rare that is for a good .338 can. I know that there are a lot of do-all cans that are .338 Lapua Magnum capable that are hub, but those cans really aren't designed for .338 Lapua Magnum, and when you actually shoot them on .338 Lapua Magnum, it's as loud as standing next to a jet engine. Quite literally, actually. The Nomax was designed for .338 Lapua Magnum and is one of the few cans that I would say is actually hearing safe on that absolute monster of a round. We were shooting a 26-inch .338 Lapua Magnum and we comfortably shot it without wearing Ear Pro. Of course, I should mention that individual experiences may vary. Factors like your platform and exposure time matter, and you should always prioritize hearing protection. But I can tell you that everyone in our group found the Nomax surprisingly comfortable to shoot, even with a caliber as intimidating as the .338 Lapua Magnum. There are a few cans that can make that claim, but at least in my experience, they are not hub compatible. And typically, if you get one of these cans threaded for your .338 Lapua Magnum, that is pretty much its sole use, because typically those threads are pretty unique. So what the Nomax gives you is a phenomenal .338 Lapua Magnum can that you can also use on so many other rifles and calibers because of the hub thread giving you the ability to adapt to so many platforms. And it's actually a really good can across the board. I really think that this is the perfect can for a guy who has a .338 Lapua Magnum and wants a can for it, because anyone who's ever shot a 338 Lapua Magnum knows nothing screams for a can more, but also wants something that has the ability to have really top-end performance amongst all the other more common rifle calibers. The other end of that would be a guy who has an 8.6 Blackout or 338 ARC and wants a can to suppress those, and thinks that he may want the capability of possibly suppressing a 338 Lapua Magnum in the future, because there are a lot of really great 8.6 Blackout cans, but most of the really good ones are not made to handle the pressures of 338 Lapua Magnum. The Nomax allows you to span that whole spectrum from 8.6 Blackout to 338 Lapua Magnum. Well, I think that's about enough of me babbling. I think it's time to let you hear it for yourselves.
You ready?
You ready?
Yep. Nothing to it.
God damn.
Whenever you're ready.
Well, hopefully it came through in the video, but the Dead Air Nomax is an extremely impressive silencer. The Nomax utilizes a beefed up version of the patented Nomad baffles and produce phenomenal sound performance on both the Nomad and the Nomax. The can is 3D printed out of titanium, so even though it's rather large at 9.1 inches long, it's very light at only about 13 ounces, both those measurements being without the mount. As we already discussed, the rear is hubbed, so you can easily adapt it to almost anything, and the muzzle end does feature Dead Air's interchangeable front end caps, so you can tune the sound and the flash suppression. The Nomax ships with the new Z-Max mount from Dead Air, and I'm not gonna lie, mine is in pristine condition because I never used it. I wanted to attach the can to a bunch of different thread patterns, and that would have required like 5 of these, and I already had the direct thread adapters, so that is what I ended up using. That doesn't mean this isn't a really good design though. You can think of it as a Xeno on steroids. You've got reverse threads with a taper, which I think is the key for the best mounting system. I will say that the threads look a bit beefier to handle more pressure, and all Z-Max mounts are bored out to .338 caliber. One thing they've done to make the adapter even stronger is they've added an internal taper inside the can that aligns with a taper on the Z-Max adapter. This should give you added strength, especially under heat and pressure, and this is a really nice touch. Another thing that I just want to touch on that I think most people overlook is concussive blast and recoil mitigation. Both a really big deal when talking about Magnum rifles. Concussive blast is the shock wave that goes through your body every time you fire a gun without a suppressor. That blast is significantly more dramatic when using Magnum rifle rounds like .338 Lapua Magnum and some others that we are using in this video. Pretty much every suppressor contains concussive blast, but it's just something I like to remind people about that I think they overlook when we talk about suppressors, and it's definitely more noticeable on these larger calibers, making these Magnum rifles much more pleasant to shoot. When I asked my buddy to take the can off his .338 Lapua Magnum so we could do the sound test, he literally told me, "But I've never shot it without a can, and I really don't know what the recoil will be like." After doing it, he said it wasn't as bad as he thought, but I'm pretty sure I saw a tear running down his face.
Nothing to it.
God damn.
All kidding aside, Magnum rifles have a lot of recoil, and one big thing that you can do to help tame that is add a silencer, and the Nomax does do an excellent job of taming both the recoil and the concussive blast. Like we always say here, no product is perfect and everything has its downsides. The only real downside of the Nomax that I can see is I can come up with a silencer that is slightly quieter on .338 Lapua Magnum, but it would be direct thread, so it's pretty limited. I can also come up with a silencer that is slightly quieter on 8.6 Blackout, but it's not rated for .338 Lapua Magnum or any other Magnum rifle rounds for that matter. While the Nomax might not be the absolute best on either of these calibers, it is the best I'm aware of that can span all of these calibers and do a really phenomenal job at them all. I can't stress that enough. This is a really great sounding can, and don't feel like you're getting 45 bore do-all performance out of the Nomax. The Nomax is delivering top tier sound performance and delivering it across a wide variety of calibers. Thank you guys so much for watching. And guys, I'd just like to say that AlabamaArsenal.com is about to launch. There you'll find articles on some of our most notable reviews, the videos themselves, and just more content altogether. So be ready to check out AlabamaArsenal.com. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because as always, we have some really big reviews in the works that you won't want to miss. If you want to know what those reviews are way before they hit the YouTube channel, check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, where you can see what's being reviewed in real time. If you want to help support Alabama Arsenal, the absolute best way to do that is through Patreon. These videos can be surprisingly expensive to make, and every little bit helps and is greatly appreciated. There's also Alabama Arsenal gear available right below the video if you want to go out and represent. And as always guys, thank you so much for watching.